It's been so long since I did my opening that I forgot how I even did it. What did I do? This is the Reddit mess. We are going to have a kiki moment. This is the Reddit mess. What do I used to do? This. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it now. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Reddit mess where I read a bunch of Reddit stories, and now I'm also implementing the champagne stories where people actually write in and just send it to me about their personal life, and I'm basically still going to be giving my unsolicited advice, my little bit of opinion. We still going to have a kiki moment, and we're just going to get right into it. With that being said, someone did actually send me their personal story, so we're going to go through that first and see what they're talking about. So it starts off with I have a story from about 4 years ago that my feelings are still being invalidated. So I want to ask you and your followers. 4 years ago, I, 21 female, had two best friends, J and B, who are also both 21 females as well. I was pretty close with, and we all worked at the same place. The first time I brought them around my family, my brother, who was 26 male, showed interest in my one friend, J. My brother was in a relationship, had 2 kids, and is known to mess around. I shut that down immediately, refusing his questions about Jay. And after I told this to B and Jay, Jay insisted that she was not interested. Fast forward a few months ago, I live with my brother now and a few of our other siblings. My best friends came over to hang out and whatever, and my brother would always make comments, but I made it clear I was uncomfortable with him talking to Jay, especially because he was with someone, and Jay wasn't interested in him as well. Nesio? Anyways, hello? Stop. It was weird to me, and I know my brother sleeps around. I didn't want that in my friend group. I found out later that Jay gave my brother her number and woke up one morning to her car outside of our house. She spent the night with my brother, sneaking in without telling me. I texted her and told her to leave, and I couldn't believe she crossed the boundary, I said. Let alone she's lying to me. She ignored my messages. This continued another 2 days. So I texted my brother's girlfriend and told her. She said, till you do right by me. She said, you know what, don't even worry about it. I gave you a warning. You didn't listen to my warning. So now let me go ahead and call the reinforcements. Let me go call the baby mama. See if she can expose y'all asses since how you didn't want to listen to me. Anyways, so I texted my brother's girlfriend and told her, and she came over trying to catch them. My brother blew up on me and told me it was none of my business and needed to leave them alone. All this, I confided in B how hurt I was on both sides. B told me that they're grown and she did not see what Jay did was wrong. I felt disrespected, but everyone thinks I'm overreacting. Cut B off. I would say keep her at a distance or cut her ass off. For me, boundaries are super important to me. Like if I've already established, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. Hey, I don't like this. Yes, it's already a known factor that my brother messes around, but please do not be that little chicken head in the background that also wants a taste of my brother as well. It's making me uncomfortable. It puts me in a sticky situation. Please respect that. So the fact that Jay did not respect that, I can understand why you're upset with her. But the fact that B is co-signing what Jay did, stating that she doesn't see anything that she did wrong, it would have me looking at her side eye because, Heffa, this is my boundary. I'm telling you, this makes me uncomfortable. Like, that's my sibling. What do you mean you understand where she's coming from? I would be looking at her like, okay, if you can understand this, what's not to say that you wouldn't try a fast one on me, too? Now, on the same hand, I can kind of see why your brother, at the very least, your brother is looking at you like you're kind of overreacting. And this is why. I don't know if you have, but the way the story is set up, it seems outside looking in that you haven't done this before. You are already aware that your brother is out here doing his baby mama dirty. So this whole time, it sounds like you've been basically playing dead, but keeping one eye open to his mess. And so in his mind, he's like, well, my sister, she been knowing, she knows I'm a creep. She been knowing I've been creeping. Why say something now just because it's your best friend? Does that make sense? Like, I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I'm not stating that this whole situation is okay. I'm just stating, like, I think that's where your brother is coming from. And me personally, I feel like if you were going to expose his infidelity, if you were going to call it out, you should have said everything. You should have called out everything. All the people that you knew about to the girlfriend. That's just me personally. Yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I feel as though I'm going to end it on this note. I think you are right to your feelings about the situation. They crossed the boundary, and that isn't okay. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think I'm going to end it on this note by stating I really truly feel like you should talk to your brother if you haven't already and tell your brother, hey, this really bugged me. In the future, can you please not look at my friends, even if you do like them, especially if you're in a relationship? It just makes it awkward for everyone. So please just respect me on that level. Yeah. I would have that conversation with my brother. And if he cannot honor that, like if this happens again, then I would definitely have to distance I would definitely have to distance myself from my brother as well, if that was the case. Yes. Moving into a lighter subject, we are now on the Reddit mess. And when I was scrolling, trying to find like a story that I wanted to read, I don't know what it is. So like my favorite subjects when it comes to Reddit is either going to be something like dealing with the wedding, because I feel like wedding stories are always off the wall, and then anything that's like sex related. Every time I come across like a sex related story, I just know I'm in for a good laugh. So I found a intimate related story. So anyways, the subreddit is Today I Messed Up. The subtitle is Today I Messed Up by Destroying All of the Skin on My Eggplant. Keep it very friendly for YouTube and TikTok. Yes. And my balls. Yes. That sounds real cute. So I have a fleshlight and a penchant for getting wasted. One night a few weeks ago, I had too much to drink after working outside all day in the sun, woodworking and gardening. So I was extra messed up as well as exhausted. I threw on some MILF, visuals, just a nice lady doing her due diligence on camera. The way I be finessing these words to make it real cute for TikTok and YouTube, I just have to give myself a pat on the back. So anyways, a nice lady doing her due diligence on camera, pleasing herself, all that jazz, staring into the camera, standard fare. This took some time and the lube dried up and I realized I had none left. No lotion, nothing. So in my deranged passion, I went for something I believe would be safe. Dawn dish soap. They clean ducks with it. Oh, Lord. Woo, he said they clean ducks with it. I remember that Dawn commercial where the little ducks, what was it, the oil leakage or something like that, and they had everyone out there cleaning the little ducks, the little birds' feathers with the Dawn soap, getting them nice and spruced up. So the fact that he's over here comparing, baby, I can't. I love the men's mind. I love the way a man's mind seems to work out when they're in a desperate need of relieving themselves. Woo! So anyways, they clean ducks with it. That's what I've been led to believe. I poured some into the hole and got back to business. Well, it was great, but it took a long time. By the time it was over, I simply convulsed and immediately became unconscious with some soapy giblets, whatever. I was pretty much passed out for 11 hours after that. It took until the next night to realize I effed up. My whole area was completely red and swollen, like a tomato full of water, but also wrinkling from heat. I became very concerned. You think? He said, I became very concerned. Yeah, I would be too. Eventually, the whole area became thick and plasticky like Thick and plasticky like 100-year-old vinyl in a car, and I prepared myself for the inability I would molt like a snake. Whatever ointments and jellies were just moot. It went completely dry overnight, and the next morning I peeled it. Okay. It went completely dry overnight, and the next morning I peeled it all off, and the pile was like a size of a garden salad appetizer, like a lot. A lot of it was gray and black. I was terrified. My stuff looks like a naked mole rat. Read the material safety data sheet before you mess with your junk. What's wrong with me? It's the fact that I'm at the point where I want to see it. I would love to see it. Like sometimes I'm just too nosy for my own good. Like I have the image in my head, but I'm just at a disbelief. I cannot fathom someone being able to do that to their eggplant. Like I know an eggplant can be ashy at times, straight out the shower, and they didn't lotion up or whatever. That's like okay. Okay, I think I actually have a question. Like when y'all take a shower, yes, I have lived with my partners before, but I don't think I ever like watched their whole process of getting, ready to go out or ready to go to bed. Do y'all like put lotion? Do y'all lotion up everywhere, including that area? Because like I said, I have seen a dried eggplant before, and it is not a pretty sight. You know what I'm trying to say? But the thought of someone drying up their eggplant to the point where it is chafing, it is peeling off like a snake. I'm just at disbelief. Like I have to physically, I have to see it. I have to see it. Then someone goes on to say, if you read the back of the bottle, we find quite a few substances, and if you test it with a pH strip, you'll find the soap is acidic. It's also incredibly concentrated. A couple of drops fill an average kitchen sink full of bubbles. You basically chemically peeled your junk. For future reference, water-based lubes can be rehydrated with some water as the slippery stuff is still there, just dried out. Harsh soaps and silicone lubes should never be used on your silicone toys. Again, that's all fine and dandy, but I would like to see it. I would like to see it. And I'm going to leave it at that. So the next subreddit and the last story is True Off My Chest, and the title is Just Had the Worst Hookup Experience Ever and Needed to Vent. So a couple of nights ago, I decided to meet up with this girl off of Tinder. I just know it's going to be good. Every time you hear Tinder, I just know it's going to be a good story. Period. Anyways, and it was a terrible experience. For context, I am a 22-year-old male and met up with a 19-year-old female. Driving almost an hour to meet up, we periodically talked about how we wanted to make out and cuddle. But I was putting off meeting up because of my anxiety. But the other night, she persuaded me to come over to her place and cuddle. When she said I could use her cheeks, the cheeks on the derriere section, down there, down below, and thighs as pillows, I was instantly turned on and a wave of horniness took over. I decided to drive almost an hour at 10 p.m. in the stormy weather to her apartment. Okay, she told me that she just got off her long shift at work and that me driving an hour would allow her time to shower. So after battling the storm, I finally arrived at her apartment complex when she came out and met me. We exchanged greetings and she walked me to her apartment where we walked to her room. Next, we sat down on her bed and cuddled for a few hours while watching some YouTube and having some casual conversation. She briefly mentioned that she actually hadn't showered and decided to just cuddle her cat and wait for me to arrive. I didn't think she smelled bad at all while we were cuddling, so I kind of just laughed and dismissed it. Fast forward to 3 a.m., she's asleep and I'm getting tired and bored, so I decided to wake her up to tell her I'm heading out. She wakes up and doesn't want me to leave. That's when she started kissing me and, licking my neck and doing all these extra stuff to entice me. At first, it was enjoyable, but then I caught a whiff of her breath and wanted to puke. I put up with it for a bit when she decided to take off her pants and show me her panties. This turned me on enough to turn a blind eye to the bad breath. She told me... Wait. Pause, hold the phone. I'm so sorry. I don't care how bad you are. I don't care how fine I think you are. I don't care how tall you are. There is no way I'm going to be able to progress further if your breath is killing me. Like, if your breath is killing me, there's no way in hell I want to know what your downstairs is looking like. Does that make sense? Like, I already turned off by doing a simple interaction of kissing. What makes you think you want to even take it to the next step of going down there? Or, better yet, having her go down on you with that ranked breath. Like, no. I just, no. Like, absolutely not. Started off just touching her above the panties and began moving forward to take them off. I pulled them a quarter of the way down, deciding to slowly kiss her down there, all that extra stuff. Immediately, I smelled a very strong, musty odor like she hadn't showered in days, and literally shot my head back up. To save face, I told her I really had to get going because I didn't realize how late it was. She then walked me to the door, where I thanked her for having me over and went home. Since this took place, I haven't talked to her, as I'm turned off by now. I have been reflecting on this for a couple of days, and I feel so weird about it. He said, I've been reflecting on it. Yes, reflect on that. Next time, if the breath is smelling rank, do not move forward. Yeah, I think you should go ahead and take a little break from Tinder and really think about your actions. Anyways, there's an edit. He goes on to say, these comments are both hilarious and validating. I do want to add some things to supplement the story a bit and hopefully add some details I may have missed. First off, she did have a tongue ring, which in hindsight could have contributed to the horrid breath if not taken care of. Secondly, when I was down there, I briefly looked up at her in disbelief because of the smell, and she almost looked proud of it. I think it was before the neck kisses and stuff, she allowed me to lay between her thighs and watch YouTube, where I figured it didn't smell bad and I'd be okay. That's a good question, because I totally forgot about that. Like, if you were laying between her legs, I feel like you should have been able to smell that. Like, if it's smelling as ranked as you made it seem, I feel like you should be able to smell her essence between, a pair of shorts, a pair of pants, leggings, whatever. I feel like you would have been able to smell that. That's just me, though. Getting back into it, she initiated mostly all of the contact, including when she wanted me to go down on her, leading me to believe she wouldn't do that unless she thought she was clean enough. Finally, to make matters even worse, the smell from her breath was radiating off of my neck the whole way home, making me gag until I showered. This whole experience helped me realize some people genuinely don't care about their hygiene and perhaps don't consider how this can impact people around them. That's what I'm saying. Because if I know I have a hookup, like, not even just a hookup, like if I know I'm going out on a date alone, where potentially we may be able to do some things, I'm going above and beyond. I'm going to exfoliate my legs. I'm going to shave my legs. I'm going to, there's just a whole process. In my purse, I have, what's it called? The Eve wipes. I got my little wipey wipes, just to make sure that my lady bits is smelling nice and fresh. It amazes me how you hear about people just kind of jumping into bed without doing like a little bit of self-care. Even when I'm in a relationship, I don't care how long I've been with that person, I still feel very self-conscious about my body, where I'm like, oh, let me take a shower, or let me just freshen up a bit before we do that. Because I always want, when you lay, I always want it to be an experience. I want it to be an experience every time you lay down with me. I want to smell like everything and some in the best way possible. So it really amazes me that people really just do not care about their hygiene, especially on the first encounter. Like, that's your first time meeting up with someone. That's the first time they're going to be with you on an intimate level, and you just said, F it. I ain't going to shower. Like, get up in this. Take it all in. That is disgusting. And if her breath smells that bad, I know for a fact she has to be able to smell that. Like, especially when it comes down to the tongue ring, like, you have to be able to taste the fact that your breath stinks. I know it for a fact. She just did not care. Did not care. And maybe she thought that by him, what's it called? Maybe she thought that he would be okay with that. Like, maybe, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. It was so funny. I went out to the bar with the homegirl the other day, and she was talking about she was going to be dipping out because she wanted to get laid with this girl. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, straight from the club though? I'm like, are you going to clean up? Are you going to wipe yourself down? Or are you just going to have her, eat the box with your sweaty club essence? Because what are we talking about right now? And thankfully, my homegirl was like, girl, no, like I take a shower, I get myself prepped and ready to go before I do that. But I can imagine people leaving the club, trying to, I don't start like a whole conversation about this, because in my mind, I'm thinking, when he said that he shot his head up at her and she kind of looked proud by like her smell, like maybe like there's a possibility that she thought he would enjoy that. Because I'm reading the comments and someone says, a guy I was seeing told me that he likes the downstairs apartment to have like a little bit of smell to it. And I've actually met a few guys that are okay with having like a certain scent to the lady beds. Obviously not stank, but just like the scent, like the scent of your lady bits after, say, like a day's worth. I cannot believe I'm talking about this. Oh my God. See, someone else says, I've been married 31 years and I still shower after work before any kind of sexual activity, unless it's a quickie not long after I showered, and definitely before oral. So that's what I'm saying. Look, I'm very self-conscious of my girl. Like, I want to be very respectful to my partner and make sure my partner has the best experience. And I would hope vice versa, that he's taking care of himself to make sure that I have the best experience and not having to be subjected to, a certain smell. I think, yes, reading this and also experiencing it, I know that there are men, as stated, there are men that do enjoy having like a little bit of odor, but I don't think that they were referring to like the whole package, babe. Like, don't put all of that on me now. Jesus. I'm so sorry. Someone commented, I went down on a girl once and it smelled really bad. I just kind of froze up and I was trying to figure out how to get out of there politely. While I'm frozen up, she says, are you a virgin or something? Do you not know what to do? And then this person says, holla fucking Luya. I saw my opening and you bet your ass. I said, you bet your ass I took it. I told her that, yeah, I was, and that I'm actually having second thoughts about this and didn't think I was comfortable with having sex just yet. She was accepting of that and said I didn't have to do anything. I didn't want to. Yeah, I lied and I do it again. Okay, so this brings me to a legit question. If you come across someone that does have an odor and say this is someone that you're actually interested in, do you tell them? Like, would you actually tell them, like, hey, you smell, like you smell? I can honestly say that yes, I would, because I've done it before. But I'm actually really curious to hear how many people would step up and tell someone, hey, like you have an odor, like you have an odor and you smell. Because I feel like if you can do it, I mean, there really is no nice way to tell someone like, hey, look, you have an odor. But at the end of the day, I feel like you would be helping them out. Even if it doesn't work out between you and that individual, the next relationship that they got into, they can at least be a little bit more self-conscious about how they smell.